Landlords are frankly pissed off right now because they're buying investments that do not cash flow, and they have a ton of deferred maintenance from the previous owner, meaning these properties are in shambles and they're not making any money with the current rent roll, and they have to dump more money into it to get it stabilized. Dude, don't even get me started with accidental landlords. They'll call me all day telling me how their house is worth $3,000 a month in rent when the market says it's $1,800, but they needed the $3,000 to afford that new home they just purchased, and it's not quite working out, yet they think they're different than the tenants that are not affording rent. So if the tenants all paid on time, would the landlord be able to fix up the property, or is it the landlord's fault for overcharging the tenants, forcing them out of the property because they can't afford it any longer?
A lot of people keep saying real estate investing is dead in 2026, and that couldn't be further from the truth from someone who owns and operates a lot of apartment buildings. What is dead is this whole notion of passive income, and real estate investing is super easy and super passive. What had happened in 2020 and 2021 where interest rates were so low, and it was post-COVID, right? So people were stuck at home, flush with cash. So multifamily and just real estate investing in general became easy. Interest rates were at historic all-time lows. Banks, credit unions were throwing money at anybody and everybody to get started. This is when you saw everyone go crazy on Airbnb. You saw everyone go crazy on fix and flips. You saw wholesalers. Everybody was a wholesaler or wholesaler coach, right? Now, fast forward to 2026, interest rates have moved up, and we don't see any sign in the future when they will ever be back to 3, even 4%. We're in that 5 to 6, maybe high 6% range. So this is when operators win. And the majority of people who made their money by selling a course or a coaching on wholesale or fix and flips or even multifamily real estate, who don't actually own and operate and run the business, they make more money trying to sell you the dream than actually living the dream themselves. Those are the ones in trouble. So be careful of who you take your advice from. Don't take
wholesaling dead in Texas. If you're unaware, Texas passed this new law called SB 140, which went into effect September 1st, which broadened the term telemarketing to SMS. Not only did it broaden the term, it added some new terminology, basically saying if you call or text as a salesperson trying to get someone to buy, rent, or receive an item, you would need to post a $10,000 bond, file a $200 state filing fee, be completely compliant with the Texas mini TCPA. Now, the word that's shooken everyone up is receive an item, because in the past, trying to buy someone's house didn't fall under telemarketing because you wouldn't be trying to sell anything. But now people are trying to say that giving a cash offer falls under receiving an item, which the cash being the item in exchange for the property. I'm not an attorney or anything, but I still believe that wholesaling is not telemarketing, because you're not trying to sell anything, you're trying to see if someone would be interested in selling their property. I do know it's completely dead if you are a licensed real estate agent, but as for a wholesaler at the moment, I'm not too sure, but I don't think it's anything crazy. That's okay, because the system I use to close my deals can be done from any state, virtually for any other state. Meaning for now, I can just pause the Texas market to see what happens and do somewhere else. And I'll still be able to close 2 to 3 deals a month.
Why is real estate the worst to go into?
First of all, there are so many lies on the internet about what real estate does. Everybody talks about, oh, you buy one house and you take that money and you buy another house. And then you take that and you buy a fourplex. And pretty soon you got 30 different properties. What they don't tell you is that now they're all tied together. So if the fourplex all of a sudden burns down and you don't have the rent coming in, you don't have enough money to cover the other one. And like dominoes, they all fall apart and the bank takes them all back. So that's one. Here's number 2. There's not as much money in the end as they make it sound. And I know this because I used to be in real estate. I had about 20 homes, okay? Tenants wouldn't pay the rent. I had to evict people. They would trash the house. You got to remodel it. And of course, the laws are that they get to stay there while they're fighting their eviction for free. So every real estate person I have talked to, at least 90%, just are frustrated because it's so much extra work, and they really don't make any of the money that they talk about.
You know, when we read these comments, you know, I've been in my house for 34 years. If and when I sell it, I'll sell it to a family or somebody intends to live in it. You know, like, there's a lot to that. You know, doing a nice thing and selling it to a family, a first-time homeowner, a young couple. Because some of these neighborhoods, people are just getting priced out, and it's people coming in from abroad, you know, and they're running the prices up. And it's sad when I see that, where a young family can't afford a house, they can't buy a house. I mean, you could solve this problem by just saying, hey, if you sell to an LLC or a corporation, then you can't take the the tax-free gain. So let's say that if you've lived there 2 of the last 5 years, you take that tax-free gain up to $250 if you're single, or $500 as a couple. They're probably going to change that soon. Then you can't take that tax-free gain if you sell to an LLC. Or, you just say LLCs can't own these houses, and you would stop corporations and people from buying up all these houses, and you would probably stop the flippers from hiding behind bad work. Just a thought. So I want to know what you think down below. Is real estate investing dead? I say if you buy it right, it's always a deal. It's always good to do, but you have to buy it right. Know your numbers, know what your maintenance costs, your price per square foot, knowing what it's going to appraise for afterwards. Don't over renovate, and keep it at that 70% ARV minus repairs. You got to know what your repairs are going to be, and then throw in that 10% factor, because you're going to get stung on something, or you're going to have a contract to run off of your money. And those are the things that make real estate a risky endeavor. It's not passive, never been passive. You're always going to have something come up that you're going to have to listen to a phone call in the middle of the night. And that's why I kind of just said, you know what, I'll buy it, I'll flip it, but I don't want to own it really anymore. It's too much hassle, and a lot of people aren't making money when they actually run the numbers. And then when you sell it, you've got recapture on your depreciation, which a lot of people don't factor that in either.
Investing in real estate is the slowest and worst way to get rich in 2026. Let's compare. A rental property for $300,000. 20% down, so you're $60,000 in. You rent it for $2,500 a month. After mortgage, taxes, maintenance, insurance, you're lucky to clear $400 a month. And you get the pleasure of tenants calling you because the toilet is clogged at 3 a.m. Evictions take a minimum of 8 months, a minimum in New York. Repairs are going to eat up that cash flow. Now, take self-storage. That same 60 grand down into a 300 grand facility, you're netting 4 to 5K a month after debt. No tenants, no toilets. Nobody's calling you at 3 a.m. When somebody doesn't pay, you cut the lock, auction their stuff off, and you move on. No 8-month eviction process. No court, no lawyer, and they're cash flowing from day one. I've brokered both, and I will tell you to your face, rental properties are a bad investment in 2026.
So excited to start looking. If you are a real estate investor, just know that I hate you. My partner and I have been saving for a while to try to buy a house. We finally saved enough money, and we're so excited to start looking. Now, we definitely can't afford any of these nice new renovated houses, or even a house in a nice area of town, and we know that. We're okay with that. So we've been looking at fixer-uppers, what I call sturdy but ugly houses. So super outdated but livable, can qualify for a conventional loan, So we go to our first open house a couple weeks ago. It's a cute little 2-bed, 2-bath, 70s style home, very outdated, but fine. Immediately when we walk in the door of the open house, the realtor who's selling the house makes it very clear that the house is being sold for investment purposes. When we mentioned that we were interested in living in the house and doing updates on our own, she was appalled. She immediately lost all interest in us and went to go talk to other people. So yesterday we put in an offer for a house that was actually our dream house. It was on almost an acre of property. It was a house from the 1940s, extremely outdated, but livable, perfectly livable. We offered up all of our savings, and last minute, an investor comes in with an aggressive cash offer. I genuinely believe that if a house can qualify for a conventional loan, it should not be allowed to go to investors. I'm tired of going on Realtor.com and Zillow, and in every description for the houses in our price range, it says perfect for investors. I just want an old house. I don't want your crappy, shitty flips anyway.